Live streaming is on.
Go ahead. Put it here.
All right. So let's
You want to organize this better, right?
yeah, so I'm just gonna pull up our priority list.
From the SVG.
SVG. So we have line 25. So you have category, priority. Wait, building the plan. What's all this? What's line 31?
Now this
Go to
is
line 40.
more notes from. I'm gonna put them up here, like steps. The next steps, right?
Right. So basically, here's our. This is line 40. Oh, you want me to go up again, or I can go to line 30.
No, I took it away, right? I deleted it.
So you have category, priority, priority score, when, who, complete. No, that's what I have.
Yeah. Perfect. So, do you want to copy and paste these priorities that were already listed there?
What?
Here, these are the priorities that we listed already yesterday. Quickly. So, if you want to get organized on that first, and then of course, we can expand them in more detail.
So also it'd be helpful to have our categories. So our categories are basically workflow, identity, multimedia,
Website again.
multimedia, website, yeah.
Website here. So I don't know if it's website here. Brainstorm list a website to showcase. It's more like planning coordination.
That would be workflow. Planning and coordination is part of our workflow.
Okay. So
Anyway,
right?
so as far as other things we want to add here is definitely I didn't write down. Never mind. Have grants ready. I don't know what that is. I'm deleting have a grant ready. That okay?
Yeah.
I don't know what have grants ready means.
So non-profit budget is identity. I don't know. What is that?
I think the nonprofit budget is under workflow, but I'll see here. So if you go to CCC,
Workflow. Trajectory training identity, I guess.
yeah, CCC and recruitment nonprofit budget is under workflow because we need our budget. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the trajectory training is identity, I guess. All right.
Well, that was the other thing. It was, basically sub trajectory, right? List of sub trajectories.
All right, workflow. Multimedia, I don't know, Sensi. So segmentation.
I don't know if Sensei is what we want to prioritize, but we could say like each of the sub websites or something like that. I don't know. Like once we have agreement on the sub websites, get agreement on the websites to complete each launch. That's line 38. But then once we have agreement on that list, I mean, I would say this is potentially multimedia here, right? And then basically once you get agreement on the websites for the launch, then you're working need agreement on each individual website we include. Okay.
So
So
this
what it
way
means to
we have it two times, line 38 and 41.
What about it?
It's not the same 38 and 41?
This would be get agreement on the list. But first you brainstorm the list and then, you know.
And then, yeah, then each individual website.
Yeah, so that would be the example of a trajectory, right? So example of sub trajectory, right? So you have step 1 is brainstorm the list. Step 2 is prioritize and get agreement on the list, right? Step 3 is like, work on each sub website, right? And then step 4 would be agree on each individual website to include, right? Agree on each individual website that it is completed, right? And step 5, agreement that all websites and the umbrella website is all ready to launch. So that's like the primary trajectory. Does that make sense? The primary sub trajectory. It's like the main goal of the whole thing is basically this sub trajectory. And it's obviously not the only trajectory, but that's basically the order. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So for me, that would have a name. We could call it like the website trajectory, right? Or we could call it the final launch trajectory.
The showcased websites trajectory.
Okay, we'll figure it out. That's just it's helpful to have it as an example because then you can keep track of like one trajectory, one like lineage of workflow. So another would be the branding and identity, right? Branding and identity. So here, a lot of the stuff we included in the other one, but we can brainstorm ideas for general brand, right? For example, FQN, FQV, community. Okay. Then we need to,
the name of the umbrella as well. I mean, we need to finalize that at one point.
What is it?
Name finalization.
Yeah. Then
for the umbrella.
Here you have brainstorm, the website name, right? Itself. So you basically have three things. There's the general brand, there's the image of the actual thing, then you have the name. So the general is kind of like everything sort of together, and then you have the image and the name. Okay? So from there, you would have like the URL. So agreement on, brand, image, logo, website name. Then you've got basically, agreement on URL. You have your purpose, mission, goals, vision, two-pager, right? Pamphlet. Okay.
Yeah. The slogans.
Slogans. So that would be another trajectory. So that could be the identity trajectory, for example.
Mm-hmm.
This is another thing that I love about the trajectory model, is that it simplifies everything so much. Because remember, before we've had these huge laundry lists of so many priorities, and it's always the question is, what's the priority going to be? What's the priority going to be, right?
Okay.
So in the trajectory model, you're basically clumping together everything that obviously is in a lineage order, because it's a single trajectory, right? So like it's like the brand and identity, this all goes together. So basically, whenever the brand and identity is the priority, we just see where we are in the process, and then it's just like, all right, this is the next step. And so, oh, you just finished the mission, let's go on to the goals. Oh, we finished the goals, let's go on to the vision, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So it should be pretty simple to organize once we have our trajectory model. I think it'll actually simplify a lot of things,
Okay.
So then there's the actual website itself, right? So it's important to note that for the website, I'm on line 75 now.
Yeah.
So for the website, the actual work of the website is not necessarily dependent on the identity, right? So you kind of have to wait on identity, which would include the logo, the name.
You're talking about the umbrella website.
Yes, this is the Umbrella Showcase website. And this is what our focus is for today, right?
Yeah.
So so today our primary goal is to work on the Umbrella Showcase website. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So we need to wait on the identity, the logo, the name, in essence, like the final URL, et cetera, but we could still work on the website itself. We can still work on the welcome page. We could look at, what is the general look. We could research showcase websites. We could, basically have this open discussion on, what a showcase website might look like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the structure for sure.
Yeah, the structure, like what pages do we want within the website? Do we want an about page? Do we want other pages that are in the general context of the website itself? Yeah. So I think there's actually a lot that can be done on the website even without knowing the identity. But me, I mean, I prefer having the identity. It's just like really nice, and it's also obviously one of the main things of the website is like your identity and your image and your brand. Oh yeah, the platform of the website, WordPress, Wix and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't have agreement on the name, it's difficult then to also pick the URL.
Well, yeah, you can't pick the URL. But you can still work on the website even without the final URL, because the URL just points to the website. And remember, you can change the URL anytime. You can always buy a new and rebrand, and you still have your same website.
Okay. So how do you work on the website without having a URL? It's just not online, but you're still through WordPress.
Well, there's two ways. One is you can actually create ideas and templates and basically work out what the website's going to look like even without actually working on it, right? Mm-hmm. The second thing you can do is you can actually do like a sandbox or a practice website, or just get like a generic subdomain or whatever, and then you can always update it. I mean, for me, in my personal context, the domain should be something we basically already have. Like we're either using fun.mo, using CommUnity, or using CommUnity or something like that we already have. I mean, I don't see us using like, we could even do WCTC. Like it doesn't need to basically be a brand new, fancy URL. But if we want to get a brand new fancy URL, we can do that too. It's whatever we want. But either way, we could easily create a subdomain, set up on the server like a test website, and maybe it's the one we like and it's perfect, and we just point our new URL to the existing website, right? So there's no reason we can't work on the website. Imagine if we didn't work on the CSAF website until SVG was already finalized as the name, we wouldn't have gotten very far.
Yeah, I agree. Let's start with through a test website or something that we can set up quickly to work. Actually, start
so
working.
I think the number one question here is the platform, right? Because the first thing we need to decide on is the platform, because then that will determine what the test website's going to look like. Okay.
I mean, yeah, the platform. I don't know. I mean, I think we're all comfortable with WordPress. I don't know. Did you have something other than WordPress in mind?
Well, there's definitely always other options that are worth considering, including just like a simple Google site, or there's always other options too. But
Google.
I think that Google has their websites too. Like all of our token websites are all on Google. Anyways, we'll when we get there, we can go over it. But I don't want to just assume automatically that we're going to just do WordPress, and maybe we want to research showcase websites first, right? Maybe we want to talk about our look and everything before we go into the platform. Depending on what we want it to look like, that's anyways, we'll figure all that out.
Okay.
So any other, so obviously our workflow and coordination, I think, is kind of its own trajectory. And like we can make like a list of trajectories here somewhere. I don't know where we should make a list of trajectories. Maybe line 100. Sub-trajectory. So I always include the main trajectory as also a sub-trajectory. Like every main trajectory would have its own sub-trajectory, right? And then we've got basically, I don't know, the launch trajectory, the identity trajectory, and the umbrella website trajectory.
These are the sub-trajectory.
Yeah. So I think it's like maybe a launch agreement trajectory. It's kind of like getting agreement on the launch, right? Then you have the identity trajectory, and then of course there is the
showcase websites trajectory setting.
Yeah, the showcase website trajectory, and then I think each in essence each of these sub websites also have their own sub trajectory. So the FPG website would be its sub trajectory, right? And you have the sponsorship website,
CCC website.
No, that would be under sponsorship. No,
CCC we don't will be under sponsorship.
We don't need to showcase every single legal entity on this website, does it? Oh, that brings up another thing. We need the criteria, right? That is super duper duper important. So the criteria, where does the criteria fit in? So criteria, clarify our criteria for website and brand and identity. So this is line 39.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So again, this is where trajectories is really amazing, is that everything is somewhere. So the question is,
Mark,
yes.
We cannot hear anything. What happened?
Yes.
Yeah. We're muting you, Mark. You're really loud. All right, I muted it.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was over. Mats, there was a lot of noise, so when it's better, you can unmute yourself.
All right, so I would say the criteria for the website and the brand would either be part of the branding and identity, or the Umbrella Showcase website, or both.
Or the launch agreement trajectory, right? Because it's part. I mean, it's part of the agreement of what criteria we need to follow to launch.
I mean, I think it's part of everything. I think this needs to be part of our policy. Basically, this is our policy, so this comes as part of our workflow, right? So our coordination and management, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like you know, I don't know if we're gonna have if you want to call it coordination or management or you know oversight, or I don't know. What do we call it before? Planning and coordination?
Team dynamics.
No, it's not team dynamics. That would be like how we all work together. Planning and coordination. Or how about coordination? How about the coordination plan trajectory? Planning coordination? I don't know. Let's just call it the coordination trajectory.
Yeah, I like planning and coordination.
So this is where you get into what we call the we call it the segments. Okay, so you have segments, then you have details. So within the segments, basically one of the segments are our policies, right? So planning and coordination includes our policies, and we need clear criteria for what we are doing. What is our purpose and scope, right? Criteria / purpose and scope, right? Super duper duper important. So that's one of the very first things that we really need to set up, because that puts the entire thing in perspective for the whole trajectory. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what would be other segments?
Oh, well, we have our schedule. We've got our policy tracking. Right? Oh, I guess policies is good enough. Schedule, communications, decision making, right? Decision making, etc., right?
All right. So for example, identity trajectory would be decision making.
No, identity trajectory is all the stuff that we already covered, right? So this is the sub trajectory for identity. Brainstorm list of websites. So you have basically, you know, you're brainstorming. You're getting, wait, which one? Brand identity. So this is like a logo, name, brand, image, purpose, mission, vision, goals. All that stuff is the segments. All right. So we already covered that. So we just didn't cover planning and coordination yet. So we can add that here, the planning and coordination sub-trajectory, right? Is going to include all of this stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Policies.
I put that in 87 to 91. So also this would be, you know,
training
and the plan, training, yeah. Priorities, prioritization. All right, cool. So anyways,
timeline.
This might be everything until we add more websites. So basically we would have, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sub trajectories under the prime trajectory. Right. So the question is, does that include everything? We're just going to look at our priority list and see if there's anything that's missing that doesn't have a home. Right. Because this is how the trajectory model works, is that every single priority has to be within one trajectory. Like it can't be on its own. Right. Okay. So let's see if there's anything missing. So I'm going through the list. Let's introduce this agreement on each of the website, CCC recruitment round. CCC. So where was the CCC and recruitment round? Where did that happen? Multimedia policies. I think multimedia policies. Oh yeah. So, and then we have sensei segmentation. So CCC recruitment round, that was part of our budget, which is going to be under planning and coordination, right? So our budget is part of our planning and coordination, right?
Yeah, it's part of the workflow. Yeah, workflow is planning and coordination, correct?
Okay.
Mhm.
Budget. All right. So then that brings in sensei segmentation and all of that. So I would assume, and then we have multimedia policy. So I think all of these things are under planning and coordination, but I don't know. We might have to break it up. We'll see.
Mhm.
Policies, and then you've got budget, recruitment, media policies, and then the last one was the sensei segmentation value.
Sensitization value.
So this is just, let's just call it the vortex and other methodologies. Okay, so like the overall methodologies.
Yeah.
All right. So it's just important, like the planning coordination needs to coordinate all these things so that it's available to the team to be able to address. And then this is going to be for Monday, right? So Monday we're going to go over most of this stuff. But I believe since the criteria and the purpose and the scope is so important, I would propose that we do that now. So I'm putting that in terms of our view up, and then I also would propose that we go into the actual showcase website trajectory. That is also what we want to focus on now.
Okay, I'm ready to do a view up. Yeah.
I feel pretty good on our priorities. So I mean, we're still going to want our priorities list, but again, the new trajectory model makes the priorities list kind of not obsolete, but it's like less productive, because once you understand the trajectories, everything's organized within the sub trajectories. So basically, you're gonna, like, our new model would basically, each sub trajectory is going to have its own tab, and then we're kind of creating a mini plan within each sub trajectory instead of like the overall launch plan for everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the trajectories are just so much easier to organize, and it's like once you're within a trajectory, there's only one direction that you can go in terms of doing one thing at a time, right? So the only thing that's a little bit confusing here is the planning and coordination trajectory might need to be broken up, as there is a couple things here that might be overwhelming to be within just one single trajectory. But for now, it's fine that it's just in the planning and coordination trajectory, or the coordination trajectory, and then we will break it out as needed. Okay.
Perfect. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So
All right.
I would say we take a 5-minute break. Look, we're at the bottom of the hour. When we
let's do
come back,
Yeah, let's do the quick view up first. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm just proposing we focus on like
Criteria first.
10 minutes on the criteria,
Mm-hmm.
and then we spend the rest of the time on the actual website ideas.
Perfect. Yeah. Let's do that.
The thing that I like about this is 3 and 4. The thing that I like about the trajectory model is that you know that every single trajectory overlaps and connects to every other trajectory. So even when we're talking about the criteria and purpose, we can still be talking about the websites if something comes up, right? And then it's about organizing the information so that's in the correct trajectory. And then from there, during the website discussion, we might accidentally talk some about the branding ideas and the image ideas. I mean, everything's related, it's just trying to get it organized, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of flexibility in the trajectory model, which is part of why it's really cool. So Moth, does that sound good as far as our next steps? And did you have anything else you want to add to our priorities? You're still muted. Moth is still muted.
Moth, you there? Moth.
Okay, I guess Moth is.
I don't know. Yeah.
Let's take a 5-minute break. When we come back, we can keep on going. Sound good?
Okay. Yeah. Great. 5-minute break.